Europe's economy is crashing while Britain's borders collapse before our eyes. I'm Andrew Meatrich, former state media analyst who abandoned propaganda for truth. Today I'm exposing the stories they don't want you hearing. German automotive giants are literally paralyzed by Trump's crushing trade war, while Starmer's migrant solution with France is pure political smoke and mirrors. Prepare for this shock. Audi has completely frozen every American delivery since early April. German vehicle exports to America have nosedived by 25% in May alone. This is just the opening act. Meanwhile, Starmer celebrates processing 50 migrants weekly while over 28,000 flood Britain annually. If you're seeking authentic analysis instead of mainstream deception, smash that like button immediately. Share this with anyone exhausted by media lies and government spin. Subscribe for daily truth bombs they desperately want suppressed. Support independent journalism that exposes their failures, because by tomorrow morning, these crises could reshape everything we thought we knew about European stability. Watch how Trump just demolished Germany's automotive empire in real time. Washington imposed devastating 25% levies on every foreign vehicle and component entering America from April 2nd. Can you grasp the magnitude? Audi has completely suspended all vehicle deliveries to the United States following Trump's brutal import penalties. Corporate headquarters instructed American dealerships to quarantine every automobile that landed after April 2nd. Their stockpile contains 37,000 units, barely sufficient for 60 days of sales. After inventory depletion, total American market abandonment. Volkswagen immediately mirrored this response, terminating Mexican rail transport and detaining European vehicles at American ports. Listen to this catastrophic development. German automotive shipments to America crashed dramatically during April and May following Washington's punitive trade measures. These statistics represent industrial funeral notices, not mere financial data. BMW desperately leverages their Carolina manufacturing facility to prevent complete annihilation. But consider this nightmare scenario. Even their American assembly depends on European components now subjected to crushing tariffs. Jaguar Land Rover implemented 30-day suspension. Lotus ceased operations indefinitely. Pay attention to this escalation. Even courier services are crumbling under America's revised customs regulations. DHL terminated standard business packages to the United States after August 22nd. The duty-free threshold permitting parcels under $800 without penalties completely eliminated. European enterprises cannot dispatch basic merchandise to America anymore. This represents methodical economic strangulation masquerading as commercial policy. Observe the pattern emerging here. Trump isn't merely targeting German automobiles, he's systematically demolishing the entire Atlantic trade infrastructure component by component. This transcends automotive disputes. We're witnessing economic combat against Europe's manufacturing core. German officials and industry leaders condemn Trump's comprehensive 25% vehicle import duties, declaring these measures transmit catastrophic signals to international free trade principles. Recognize this destructive pattern? German vehicle manufacturers employ countless workers throughout Europe, with production networks spanning Hungary through Slovakia. When Trump annihilates German export capacity, he's not simply damaging corporate boardrooms, he's obliterating European industrial employment by hundreds of thousands. German automotive exports to America plummeted 13% during April, then crashed 25% throughout May compared to previous year periods. But witness this devastating reality mainstream media ignores. Mercedes, Porsche, Audi desperately strategized survival against potential 50% total duties arriving by August. This represents aggressive nationalism crushing globalist commercial frameworks, with Europe suffering complete defeat. The European Automobile Manufacturers Association labeled these developments profoundly troubling, diplomatic language concealing absolute terror. Prepare for this shocking revelation. Germany's commercial balance with America collapsed from 15.7 billion euros in April to whatever fragments survive through non-automotive sectors. The Bundesbank explicitly warns these policies might trigger additional economic contraction across Germany. Consider the cascading consequences when Europe's dominant economy enters renewed recession. Financial crisis spreads rapidly throughout the entire European Union. Simultaneously, Trump threatens even steeper penalties unless European negotiators surrender to American demands. This demonstrates what occurs when industrial giants become addicted to foreign markets rather than cultivating domestic resilience. Still following my analysis? Strike that like button. It confirms you demand authentic information, not sanitized propaganda. But this automotive devastation pales compared to the Channel migration theatrical performance I'm about to expose. Time to demolish the UK-France migration charade for its genuine nature. This fresh experimental program promises returning small vessel arrivals to France, while equivalent numbers enter Britain through newly established legal channels. Starmer and Macron unveiled this revolutionary exchange arrangement in July, promoting it as transformative border protection. Witness the brutal reality mainstream outlets conceal. This experimental scheme anticipates processing merely 50 asylum applicants weekly for French return, 50 individuals per week against 28,000 annual crossings. Allow me to emphasize this absurdity. 2,600 processed annually compared to 28,000 arriving. That constitutes managing 9% of current influx. Brace for this staggering disclosure. Over 25,000 individuals have traversed the English Channel into the United Kingdom during this year, establishing the most rapid arrival pace since documentation began in 2018. French authorities receive millions to prevent vessel launches, yet crossings continuously shatter monthly records. Picture this irony. They celebrate this performance while border force ships escort multiple boats daily. Witness this complete absurdity. The agreement exclusively covers individual adults unable to demonstrate family relationships. Families, unaccompanied children, anyone claiming British relatives, they remain permanently. Therefore, criminal transportation networks simply coach people regarding proper claims. Pay close attention. Southern European Union nations already threaten sabotaging this arrangement. Italy, Spain, Greece understand the inevitable consequence. France redirects people toward them, not toward origin countries. This doesn't resolve migration. It redistributes people throughout Europe while British citizens finance this entire spectacle. The statistics obliterate this comprehensive deception entirely. Since Britain's fresh exchange program with France commenced, over 2,500 individuals have traversed the Channel via small vessels. 2,500 people crossed following the arrangement's activation. Through 26 August 2025, the Home Office documented 180,141 migrants who have crossed the English Channel in small boats since 2018, 180,000 individuals since this crisis originated. Witness this escalating disaster. The arrangement exclusively applies to adults, exempts families, demands France accept people permanently. But observe what they're concealing about the French perspective. President Macron confronts enormous domestic pressure regarding immigration. French citizens rage about Calais encampments, about migrants vandalizing property, about integration policy failures. So what does Macron accomplish? He endorses an arrangement bringing additional migrants into France legally through the exchange mechanism. Observe this madness clearly. Britain expels 50 illegals. France accepts 50 legal migrants with family connections. Net migration remains unchanged, merely receiving bureaucratic authorization. Southern EU nations like Italy, Spain, Greece already resist expansion because they anticipate additional people being transferred to them. Malta and Cyprus threaten blocking any permanent arrangement. Share your thoughts below in comments. This constitutes managed decline masquerading as international cooperation, not border security. Criminal organizations mock this performance while British citizens fund French enforcement, obviously failing. Here's the devastating detail everyone ignores. The treaty expires June 2026. After 18 months, either nation can withdraw. Starmer markets temporary political protection as permanent border resolution. Meanwhile, Reform UK's popularity continues rising because British voters possess sufficient intelligence to reject this propaganda. They witnessed 28,000 arrivals, 50 weekly returns, and £8 million daily accommodation expenses. Draw these connections with me right now. Trump's commercial warfare reshapes global economics, while European politicians stage migration theater. German industrial might confronts existential annihilation as manufacturers freeze American operations entirely. Simultaneously, the UK-France arrangement processes 50 individuals weekly against 28,000 arriving annually. These aren't isolated incidents. They represent symptoms of identical disease. Western leadership prioritizes theatrical optics over economic reality and genuine border protection. Notice how Trump's nationalist trade policies expose European dependency, while Starmer's migrant arrangement reveals sovereignty's complete collapse. Pay attention to this critical pattern. Both crises demonstrate what happens when politicians select symbolism over meaningful substance. The consequences couldn't be more severe. Commercial warfare intersects with border collapse, intersects with political performance art. Strike that like button if you demand continued unfiltered truth. Subscribe for daily reality checks mainstream media refuses delivering. Share this content with everyone exhausted by governmental deception. Leave your thoughts in comments below. Let's construct a community demanding honesty from leadership. Consider supporting independent journalism financially, because authentic reporting doesn't finance itself. Tomorrow brings fresh crises, fresh lies, fresh opportunities to expose their failures. Stay vigilant, stay informed, stay connected. The truth doesn't sleep, and neither should those fighting for it.